Hey guys, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft. Hey, I got the day off and I've got some time to spend around the house. Thought I'd shoot a couple of videos today. So I'm going to do an introduction here to a couple of different ones. So if you notice that I'm dressed the same in all of the headings today, you'll know why. I'm trying to shoot the intros into several of them. First thing I want to get started on is I want to build a fire. I'm going to cook some venison here over the campfire for lunch today. I've had some questions about starting a fire in a fire pit versus out in the wild, and I've got some debris here from the yard. All the videos today are going to be shot here in the backyard, but they're the same if you were in the woods or in the backyard. We'll set this fire lay up, get a fire going, and then we'll continue on with the cooking video in a little while. Okay, so let's talk just a minute about preparation. Go out and find the driest stuff you can. The stuff that's not laying right on the ground is going to be the driest. Try to get stuff that's hanging up in the trees if you can, if there's any issues with being wet. Now, it's not wet out here today. It hasn't rained in a week, so everything is nice and dry. Now let's talk about the size that you need. How much kindling, how much tinder, and how much fuel do you need? Now here on the left-hand side of the screen, I'm going to zoom in here as tight as I can. That's it. We have a pile of our smallest sticks, and you can see that compared to that 1 quart canteen bottle right there of how much we actually need. Now this is a good size pile, but you'll be surprised how fast it'll go. Now next to that, we're moving up into the small fuel side, and this is stuff that is anywhere from the size of my thumb up to about the size that I can touch my pointer finger to the crease in the bottom of my finger, like this. So anything that big around, just like you'd measure spaghetti, to my thumb size. And then over here on the far right, we have some fuel, and that's anything from the old spaghetti measurer on up to the size of my wrist. Now I will be switching over to some hardwood split because, like I said, I am going to cook lunch out here today. Now here is our fire lay, and all I've done, if it was wet outside or if it was cold, to keep the ground from sucking the heat out of my fire, I've laid some of the larger fuel size wood down on the ground, and you'll notice the largest stick that I could find is broke off. It's a little bit long, I couldn't break it. But that's the biggest thing I could find laying around the yard, and that's kind of a bridge that I'm going to place in the back, and that's going to allow me to keep that fuel from going right down on top of my tinder or whatever I use to start my fire, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. Okay, so let's talk about our natural tinders for a minute. Now, any of you that's seen any of my videos know that I love this stuff right here. This is Fatwood Pine Pitch. I've got a video on it. You can review that. But all I've done is I've taken this stuff and I've taken the back side of my knife and I've simply scraped it, put it down here on the ground, and I hope you can see that little bit of sawdust coming off of there. And all I've done is I put it down here like this and scraped it and collected me up a pile of it. Now the other thing that I have for tinder is when I was breaking up this wood, some of this poplar bark was coming off, so I was able to pull that off. And all you have to do with this stuff makes fantastic tinder. See this inner bark stuff here? When you pull that off, you take it and break that stuff all up. Just put it in your hands, twist it, grind it, and what you wind up with is a fine bird's nest like this. And you can get it down to the point that it's almost as fibrous as jute. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start our fire. We're going to take our smalls and put on top, and as that starts to grow, we're going to continue to add our different stages of material. And if we do that right, we should be able to pile everything up and just walk away from it, and our fire should grow. So let's do that now. Alright, break out the rod here. Alright, so there's our fire. I'll put that little bit of bark on top of it. Put my knife away. Throw it right in my pocket. Now we're going to take all of these smalls, and what I like to do is just spread it out and gently, almost like you're playing pickup sticks or pixie sticks. Just let that stuff lay on top of that fire. Now if it starts to go out and it needs more air, you just grab this bridge in the back and pick it up. But that bridge is keeping that airflow going underneath here and letting that heat rise. This is the importance of having this small stuff. It has to have enough surface area that the flames can wrap around it. If you try to go to this thumb size stuff right off the bat, it's just not going to be able to heat it up and get you that longer lasting flame that you need. Now I'm not going to add anything to this until the flame is coming up here higher than this fuel. Once that happens, I'm going to take my next handful and at the opposite angle, I'm going to come across. Once again, not letting that smash and choke all of my air out of there. Now once I've got flame coming up again, I can go ahead and start adding some fuel on there. Now from this point, you'll have a sustainable fire. And if you want to start doing your log cabins or your teepees or any of the other fancy stuff that you've learned over the years, that's great. And there's plenty of great methods out there, plenty of good ways to build your campfires. But as for starting this fire, getting a good sustainable fire going in just a couple of minutes, I haven't found anything better than this right here. Now we should be able to walk away from that and not worry about that fire going out anytime soon. When that burns down, I'll start adding my regular campfire wood to it and we'll be ready to start doing some cooking. Okay guys, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft. Thanks for joining me for another video. Just a quick little setup today of starting this fire to get ready to do some cooking. We'll move on to the cooking next. Take care. Until next time, I'm Tim Langston with Red Dog Bushcraft. God bless.